So, thanks a lot for having me. So my name is Svenia. I'm Franco-German actually, and I'm the founder of the EdTech Tours, which are like research projects around the world on education technology and what great innovation are happening in this field. So I'm an explorer, that's my title. People laugh at me when I say I'm an explorer, but I am. I'm traveling all the time and I'm trying to meet a lot of people in this field to really understand in each country how EdTech works and what are the great things happening around the world that can inspire all of us. And I'm also an entrepreneur because I'm launching a startup that is also going to be an accelerator, so an accelerator for EdTech entrepreneurs that are going to work with teachers and with researchers to create the best products possible with the help of the experts. Teachers are the experts. They know how it is to stand in front of a classroom. They know how it is to manage a classroom and to teach really. And entrepreneurs are often people that have a specific have very specific expertise, but that really never stood in front of a classroom. And I think it's super important to mix both components, the pedagogy and the business side. So in my accelerator, teachers will work with researchers and entrepreneurs to create the best possible products for education. So it's going to launch next January, going to be based in Paris, but open to all European entrepreneurs. So it's going to be a European accelerator for EdTech. So, but now I'm going to talk more about the research part and not the entrepreneurship part. So the EdTech Tours is a concept I imagined 2 years ago when I was sitting in business school and I got really bored and I didn't understand why it wasn't innovative at all. We had really top-down classes, we did some case studies, no projects, still very traditional. It was one of the best schools and we still didn't have any innovation. So I got really frustrated and I was passionate about educational change. I wanted to make a change, so I decided to go on a world tour to discover different countries and how they innovated, how they made innovation happen in their education system. So I chose 10 countries that were really innovative in terms of education and technology. I fundraised with a friend of mine, we were two. We fundraised and then we went for a tour for 6 months to explore all those countries. That was the first tour last year, and then I did a second tour this year, more specifically based on Europe. And we're going to do lots of different tours in the years to come because we want to continue exploring. We want to be constantly seeing across borders and not being too focused on our own country or our own continent. So as entrepreneurs, our mission is also to look for best practices and great things we can bring back to our country and develop there. So in total, I did visit 15 countries now, during 28 weeks in total. Met more than 120 startups and visited really the most innovative schools in the world, and it was really an amazing experience. But of course, when I do those tours, I'm meeting with the widest array of people. So I'm meeting with teachers, with students, with the ministries of education, with corporates, with non-for-profits, and startups, of course. And I'm trying to have a really wide range of people to have different points of view of the ecosystems I visit. So those are the ecosystems that I visited at the countries that I've been to. So I said the world's most promising EdTech ecosystems, but actually there is one here that I don't see as promising at all. What do you think? One that really got me frustrated and I was really sad because I was expecting something big and I was really enttäuscht. So which one is it? Yes.
My first thought is Germany.
Oh my god, no! Oh, come on! I will tell you a lot about Germany. They're doing great things here. Again, look at this. Which country really, how do you say enttäuscht?
Disappointed.
Disappointed me. No, Germany, don't be so critical about yourself.
Yeah, because you talk about to get best practices to take home.
Yes.
Maybe it's France.
No! We are doing amazing things in France! I was really disappointed by one country, and it's South Korea.
Oh, okay.
Why South Korea? South Korea is such a traditional system that is never going to change, in my opinion. I mean, it's going to change because it has to change, but it's Asia. I mean, you know, the Asian education system are really, really traditional, super competitive, and a lot about test taking. You have to be the best test taker in the world, and you really have to compete to have the best spot in the classroom, and you have to work super hard. You have such a pressure from the outside that kids really are miserable there, and you have the highest suicide rate in South Korea for under 18, and it has a lot to do with the huge pressure kids have from the society, from the parents, from the teachers to be the best and to work hard to have one of the very few spots from the elite universities. So the most important day of their lives is their day of their Abitur, baccalaureate. They have this huge exam that will determine their whole life, according to them. And if they fail this exam, then they fail their life. And that's what their parents tell them, that's what the school tells them. So at this particular day in the year, you don't have any planes flying because they could disturb the test. So it's really extreme. You have no cars on the streets, no planes, because it all has to be calm for Korean kids to take the test. So it's that extreme, okay? So actually in this country the technology is not going inside the classroom because it could disturb the status quo. It could disturb everything. And we don't want to experiment because if we experiment then we might lose the great results we have at PISA. We might lose everything. So we better not experiment. We better stay like this, okay? Actually, it's a bit, I'm going a bit far here, but there are initiatives that are trying to change things, but, very few. I was convinced that there will be more in South Korea, the mecca of technology, but no, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go country by country, and we're going to travel together in those different countries, and I'm going to talk to you about best practices that I've seen. Okay? So this is the first. I'm going to start with Europe because I just went to all those countries and I've just seen all those great examples. So this is a school in Denmark, in Copenhagen, a gymnasium, a high school that is completely public, completely funded, free of charge. And the state, the city of Copenhagen wanted a really new school, so they called some great architects and they said, we want a new school, please do something great. And actually they come up with some really interesting space laws, so it's very, very open. You have traditional classrooms, you don't see it on the picture here, but you have traditional classrooms, but very few. You have a lot of free open spaces, where teachers can go, in this little thing here and teach here some of the time. It's really open. So the space is, is waiting for the teachers to use it, and you have to use it in an innovative way because you have no choice. There is not a lot of traditional classrooms. So teachers had to adapt very fast. And organize their classes very differently. But it works very well, and they are really working in a free environment. Every kid has its own laptop that it brings to school, and they're working very independently. So, they're just working in groups and getting cozy up there and working on their group projects, and then they go back to class, and they have a very flexible time frame, so They work really independently, lots of project-based learning happening in the school because you don't have enough classes for everyone, so teachers had to adapt and had to adopt new ways of teaching. And it worked, and now it's a very famous for their results, but it's a very famous gymnasium, and it's really it's situated in a very low income area, so it hasn't been built for the top 10%. But the pedagogy here really made a difference.
Short question: did they get the laptops by the school, or is it a bring their own device?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. In Denmark is the most advanced ecosystem I've seen in Europe, because in Denmark, high school students would rather forget to wear pants than to bring their laptops in school. So it's like a bring your own device in the whole country. So it's really adopted, like it's completely normal to work with your computer, to bring at school, to work with the Google environment, collaboratively. You don't have to be in the same room. You can write essays or presentations together. And so they're working with this, and it's completely normal to in all Danish schools. And I was really shocked because in the OECD, it's the country with the highest penetration of devices in school. So they're really advanced. Yeah. Completely bring your own device. That's not the case in other countries. Far from that, but Denmark is really the most advanced in Europe. So after it's the parents. So the kid bring its own device. So it can bring the parents' laptop at school, or the parents buy a laptop for the child. But often the laptop penetration in households is like 100% in Denmark. So they often bring the parents' device or the brother's device or their own device if they have it. But it's high school students, so often they already have a device at 16 or 17. So yeah, but the parents have to provide for a device, that's for sure. Yeah.
So it's only for high school students?
Yes. So for high school students, it's 100% of high school students in Denmark bring their own device. In lower grade, it's also happening. So in comprehensive schools, it's from first grade to 9th grade. They have it. A lot come with their device from 7th grade on. But I don't have the exact amount of pupils that bring it. But it's a lot. But still, 100%, I'm sure it's for the high schools. But I've been to comprehensive schools, and in 9th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, they already all had their laptops or iPads. Or they just bring it, and it's fine because it's the law. You can bring your own device at school. I think it's the law for high schools, but a lot of middle schools are also doing this.
Since when did they introduce the law?
It's a good question, and I don't exactly know since when, but I think it's between 2014 and 2015, so it's pretty recent. I'm almost sure it's 2015, but I will need to check. Yeah. So then I went to Finland, which was a very, very interesting, of course, country to go to. But in terms of technology, Finland is really behind. Actually, they are not used to use technological tools in the classroom. Teachers don't really use them because it works so well. They have such an innovative, phenomenal-based approach that is already so successful that teachers don't really think about bringing technology inside a classroom, and they don't see how it could bring value. But actually, having some digital competencies is key today. So what they are doing now in Finland is they built an accelerator for EdTech startups that work directly with schools in the area to co-create their products. This is a really great accelerator called XEDU, based in Helsinki. And next to this accelerator that really does a lot of connecting into the ecosystem and public-private partnership happening, you have this great agency called Cocoa Agency. It's a private agency created by 2 teachers that felt there is a plethora of great tools out there, but I don't know which one to choose. And some tools are not that great actually, because some tools are not pedagogically viable. So they were actually pretty pissed at the amount of tools that they saw existing on the app stores or on the internet that were really pedagogically some really bullshit. So they were pissed as teachers, and they said, okay, we want to stop that. We want to create, to be sure, we have to create some kind of standards that will make sure that these products are pedagogically viable, and we will hire a team of teachers and researchers to test all the products that come to us on a plethora of criteria to see if they are really innovative or if they are absolutely just, plain technology on top of something that already exists. So they have different criteria. For example, is the learner active or passive when using the product? Is the learner in competition with others in the classroom inside this product, or has he like a personalized learning path to grow his or her skills? Is the learner pushed to collaborate with his or her peers inside this product, or is it really individual, only him and nothing else? A lot of 21st century skills based in this approach, and they are developing lots of standards and they are testing startups. So startups actually come from their own will to them and say, can you please test our product and give us some recommendation? And now they're testing a lot of Finnish startups because they have a great brand, and people know that they're serious, and they have great teachers and researchers testing the products, and they come to them. And at the end you have your Cocoa standards on your product, and it means something. And I think this is super important, because I see a lot of products that call themselves innovative and EdTech, but they aren't. I see a lot of I don't know if you know about the SAMR model, SAMR. The SAMR model it's like a theory developed by some kind of academics that told, okay, education technology should not be substitution, the S. Substitution from something that already happens, that already exists in a traditional way. So for example, books. If you digitize books, it's not an innovation, it's a substitution of something that already exists. And you put the technology and the digital in on top of that. That's not innovation. And then you have the augmentation. The augmentation is, okay, you have a great book and you're digitizing it and you're putting some videos, some interactive videos. That's augmentation of a book, And then you have the modification. That when it's becoming really interesting. When you modify something that already exists and something better. But then you have the revolution, which is another time more interesting, because revolution is about completely changing the way we've done things in the past and rethinking how we should do it for the future. And I'm really interested in the revolution part, so our Cocoa agency. Like, what are you really changing the way we learn mathematics with your product? Are you really, changing the way, because, the transformation, innovation is really about changing the way we always have done things. It's about reflecting, thinking of some other ways of doing it in a better way to reach learning goals. So I think this is super important, and I'm happy that we have some Finnish company that does that, because I think we strongly need it in the EdTech world.
This question, so they introduce are only Finnish startups going to test their apps there, or is there any chance to recommend German startups or any other?
Of course, they are happy to welcome all startups from all countries. Yeah,
Okay.
because for them it's the same. I mean, if you're Finnish or German, you still want to make someone learn something with your product. So for them,
Let's
it
talk
doesn't.
about how much they can handle in terms of, because they said there are two founders. I don't know how huge this agency is, and,
They
and
want it,
how long this process takes to evaluate
Mhm.
an application. Also, because it's oftentimes you have to need long-term studies. Therefore, maybe it's too much for them to handle.
Mhm. That's a good question. No, they doesn't take too much time because they're not doing this scientifically. Really, I mean, they're not testing it, for 8 months and then see what happened. No, it's just it's more superficial than that, But yeah, they're growing. I mean, they know they're raising some funds now, and it works very well. So I hope they will be in our country soon.
But if it's only superficial, how does this certificate actually guarantee that it has an extra value?
Because, I mean, these researchers and teachers can pretty quickly see if your product has any, pedagogical value.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell you, I know lots of, really of products that call themselves innovative, but that just aren't. And it's for them, because they have so much experience, it's easy to detect. It would be way more complicated for people that don't really know about the field, or that know about education, or that know about technology to see it. But for them, because they have so much experience, they just see it, and they have a very long list of criteria. It's not just the criteria that I told you, it's just 4 examples that I told you, but a really long list of criteria, and they're looking at the product. I don't know exactly how many hours it takes them to check for one product, but they just do it, and it's for me it's really obvious when I look at the criteria. So it's very obvious. If I'm a startup, I would definitely check for that. But oftentimes, startups are not created by experts, by education experts. They're created by people with a lot of great intentions, that have an intuition or an idea that want to go on with it, but they have to confront it to teachers and to researchers. Because education is also a science, and so we now know how the brain works and how we learn best, and so it's easier for them to do it. But for me, it has a lot of value for the entrepreneurs that can know what's wrong about their products, what kind of criteria weren't matched, and I prefer teachers and researchers doing this job than any other people, because they know, and I tell you, I mean, I've met a lot of entrepreneurs that are not specialized in the education, and so they don't really know at the beginning where to start and what features to add, so it becomes more collaborative, and they can give them some great feedback. So that's why entrepreneurs love to go there and ask to be reviewed.
Then the criteria, as you mentioned, there you can see them on the website?
No, you can't. But I don't think you can actually. I'm not sure, but you should have to check. But no, they developed it very, very thoroughly. I mean, they spend a lot of time to develop it, and I don't think it's public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I guess it's more like qualitative.
Yes.
Even if it's based. Even if it's purely intuition, that intuition is based on their expertise of many years in that field. So I would see a lot of value in that as well. Yeah, super.
Exactly. No, I think it's a great initiative because we don't ask teachers enough what they think about EdTech products, and it's often not developed with them. And at the end, they might use it, and that's why it's crazy because they are your potential future users. So you surely have to take in their feedback. And so that's why I think it's so important. Okay, so then I went to Estonia, very digital native country, of course. I was really shocked at the level of contactless things you can do there. You have a little card and you can vote with it, you can pay your tax with it, you can do everything with this little card. And that's all you need, to go to the doctor, to the pharmacy, everything is on that card. And the transportation, everything, I was really amazed. So they have a very, very digital conscious country. And you feel it also in the education sphere that, there are a lot of initiatives trying to put more, to make the digital world meet the education world in a meaningful way, because that's the point. And so first of all, in schools, every kid have to learn how to code and robotics. So they have robotics class from first grade, and it's compulsory. All the teachers have been trained for that. They have amazing training centers for technology for teachers. It's called HITSA, H-I-T-S-A. It's the public training center, and I think more than 80% of the teachers have been to the trainings. And the training is great, and they have great programs in schools, but it's still difficult for schools to adopt technology in the teaching part. It's great to teach about technology. What about teaching with technology? So I haven't seen a lot of this happening, but still I've met a very interesting startup, Linguist, which is considered as the second Skype, because Skype was created in Estonia and was a huge success, as you all know. And so Estonians think of Linguist as the second Skype, so a startup that will be as successful as Skype. So Linguist has an interesting model because it was created by a physicist that worked on at the CERN in Switzerland, and he worked on the boson-Higgs particle. And so when they found the particle, he told himself, why don't I use the same machine learning methods we use to find this particle to learn languages? Because I'm in Switzerland and I don't know any French, so I want to learn French. So he completely created this product by himself. He coded a software to learn languages in a very efficient way, and he learned French in 200 hours. So he says. So this is a platform actually very basic. I think they could do better at that, but very basic in terms of how you learn a language. It's a lot about vocabulary, So you have a phrase, a sentence, and you have a missing word, and you have to find the word, and it's adaptive. So the machine remembers which words you picked and which words you forgot, and it adapts the whole time to make you learn as fast as possible. And they already have lots of users, I think 700,000 users in the whole world. So it seemed to work. But I still think that the pedagogical approach could be better, and learning a language is not just about learning vocabulary, but it's learning how to speak, and you don't have this in the platform. So learners cannot speak with the computer or with their phones, and I think this is missing. This is the missing part, because if you learn language like Koreans learn language like this, like reading and learning by heart the grammatics. but they are not speaking. So when you go to Korea, they have the highest level of English in their test, in the national test, the amazing grades, and at PISA also amazing in English. But when you try to speak to them, impossible. They cannot speak. Okay, verbally they can write amazingly, but they cannot speak. So this is the only critique I have. I think it has a lot of potential because they have a huge data team that analyzes all the data, that know like how people learn in the specific sentence, and they can see like which mistakes have been done the most, and so this helps a lot because now they have lots of data, and they have great engineers that could that could better the machine learning part, but the pedagogical part has still some progress to do, in my opinion. But it has a lot of potential, and I like the team very much. I think they have potential, but they have to do better, I think, on the pedagogy side. Then I went to Poland. Poland was also a disappointment, but not because of the Polish people, but because of the government. And there I realized how much damage a government could do in only a few months. So they have an extreme right party there. You tell me if I say something wrong, okay? She's from Poland.
You agree with that.
So, and this extreme right party realized when they came to power, the education system is too modern yet. Now we have to go back to what we had when we went to school, so in the 60s. And we have to build an education system that is really based on national values, on how we teach our kids to be patriots, and not about teaching them to be independent 21st century thinkers. So they completely rebuilt the education system. So now they are going back to the old system. And you have a lot of reinforcement in the Polish history classes and Polish literature, so that kids learn more about their countries and the great thinkers and the great men that did the country. And so it's really, to me, it was a bit frightening, and I got a bit worried there, because a lot of innovative initiatives can't work as well as before, and they are not taken as seriously as before, so they're struggling a lot. But that's not because they aren't good, they haven't great ideas, but it's really about politics and the government. So I really realized the weight of politics, and that really made me think about why education is a political issue. It should be completely independent from politics and not change every 5 years with the president or the new party at the government. But that's, education is a great weapon for political campaigns. So that's not going to change any soon. But in Poland you have an amazing startup called Brainy. It's like a worldwide success, born in Krakow. They are really amazing, I love them. So they are doing amazing things. So it's very basic actually. It's how do you bring peer-to-peer learning online for students. So students, it's mostly school pupils, but go online and ask any questions they want about, mathematics. So it's subject-wise, of course, at school. Oh yeah, I need help on this, I really didn't get this in class, can someone please explain to me? And another student will answer, and so they are helping each other from all around the world. They have 80 million monthly active users, so it's huge. And so in all the countries they're helping each other, and they are so when someone answers a question of a peer, then he gets reviewed by other peers that review his or her answer, and by moderators. Moderators are like highly skilled students or teachers that moderate the whole thing. But what they told me is that students, the kids moderate themselves, so they realize very quickly, because they have so many users, that they are upvoted and downvoted answers, and the downvoted answers go down very quickly, so the upvoted answers stay there. And so yeah, it's like kids love it in Poland. Poland is their third country, so a lot of kids in Poland are active on this platform. And yeah, so I think it's great that, you know, a startup could even, they were created a while ago, but even in this environment they can still survive in Poland, and they can still have a lot of Polish users because their product is really smart. What's best than to learn from each other, right? That's how we learn best, by teaching others, and so that's proven by research. So this is really working pretty well.
And what are the other countries? Because you mentioned Poland.
The first country is Indonesia. No, it's Russia. Russian-speaking countries, huge, and then Indonesia. Very weird. That I have to check again.
Well, they have a couple of millions, so maybe that explains. But in comparison to other countries, yeah.
Yes, brainly. I have to. Yeah, it is. Yeah, really. It was really interesting, actually. I didn't really expect that.
I think they're like 200 million, right? So
250.
Okay, no, I don't have it. I don't have the info here, but I think it was Indonesia. It was the Russian countries, Indonesia, and then Poland, and then Brazil.
Okay, so it's every time it's in their mother tongue language. I mean, it's in Russian then.
Yes.
And
no, Portuguese is just for Brazil, so they have a huge amount of users in Brazil.
Okay.
But the first one is Russian-speaking countries. Yeah.
And the people in Indonesia are also like, I don't know, they speak their Indonesian language.
Yes.
So it's not like English.
No, it's a mix of both actually, but still
Okay.
the country is Indonesia. They come from Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like second or third place. Yeah, Indonesia. So really huge. This was really interesting for me because it's a small country. I mean, compared to Brazil, and it's relatively small, or not.
I don't know how many millions are in Brazil, so
A lot in Brazil, but it's like 250 million in Indonesia, and in Brazil it's 280 million. Okay, that's I thought Indonesia was much smaller in terms of inhabitants, but yeah, it's basically almost the same. Yeah. So yeah, then Spain was really interesting too. I mean, I can't speak about Spain. I can speak about Catalonia because, as in Germany, it's a federal system. So you have 17 different states, and I cannot speak for all the states. I can just speak for one state because education is state policy, like in Germany. They have a Ministry of Education that has more power than the German Ministry of Education. But still, a lot of things are done at the local level. So this is a government initiative, actually, created by the government in joint ventures with a private foundation, the Mobile World Foundation. And the two of them, so it's financed completely by the Mobile World Foundation, but it gets into school thanks to the Ministry of Catalonia, of Education. And so it's about bringing mobile technologies to schools, but not just to learn with them, but really to create things with them, be a creator with those technologies. So it's a program for 6th and 7th graders to develop apps that can solve a problem they have in the community. So they think of a problem, of something they can that is close to their hearts, a problem that they want to solve, and they have a program that is taught and they have to do it in school and outside of school to create their apps. And then there is the best apps win, and they get to go to a coding camp for the summer to learn more skills. So they do it with App Inventor, so it's pretty basic. They don't really learn how to code really like more difficult languages, but still gives them a sense of entrepreneurship, solving a problem, developing a true product, thinking of potential clients, and they see their device as learning tools. Also, they see they can learn through them. And this is a program that has been really successful in Catalonia, and they want now to take it to other countries and other regions in Spain. But the founder of this program told me that other regions in Spain are not interested, so they are looking at bringing that in other countries in Europe. So yeah, that's very interesting, I think, and I like this idea of public-private partnership, private foundation. It's easy. It worked really easily in France. We would have done, such a scandal to work with private people in the education sector. No, I mean we have to work with different stakeholders, and it's normal, and it's not a shame, and it works very well. So I really like this example. Then France. Lots of things happening in France at the moment, really a bubbling ecosystem, lots of companies are being launched there. And we have, since I think 3 years now, an EdTech master program. 100% in English, everyone can do it, everyone can apply. It's a public French university that offers that program. It's a very good program to learn about research, entrepreneurship, and pedagogy in EdTech, So it's like the perfect 2 years to learn. If you want to do some research in the field, you will find it out. If you want to build a startup afterwards, you will find it out and you will learn the right skills. And if you want to be a teacher or a pedagogical designer, you will also you won't learn how to be a teacher, but you will learn some basics of how to design learning experiences, learning environments. So really focus on those 3 different things. They learn about those things, and a lot of project-based learning, inquiry-based learning. So the master in itself is super innovative. So it teaches you in a very innovative way, and really it's I think a really great master to get to know more about EdTech, not only on the business side and not so business, but they're more onto the research part and the pedagogy and how to make EdTech more meaningful. And they've done a great job so far. They're really international. People from 20 countries are now in this master, and so if you're interested, they take people at all ages. So their oldest student is like 60, and the youngest is like 19 or something. So it's really worth it, and it's public, so it doesn't cost you anything. And you get a visa for 2 years in France. If you're not from the EU, it's great to know. So this was about Europe. I didn't talk about Germany because I haven't really finished to really think about all this. I just went here for a few days. I'm leaving tomorrow, so I will have to put all those things together that I saw. But there are amazing initiatives happening here. It's just that the system is very complex. The system is very complex and doesn't really allow for startups to get into schools, to get, it's really complex. But our system is really complex too. It's the extreme. We in France have a very centralized system. Here you have a very decentralized system. where each state can decide their own policy and their own curriculum, and it's hard because then you have to go to each state schools and convince them to buy your product. It takes a lot of time. But we have to convince the Ministry of Education and the minister himself to go into schools. So it's even more, I think, difficult. So in Hamburg, I've seen great things happening. I've seen app camps, which is a great initiative to bring code to school and teach and train teachers to learn, to teach how to code to students, in first grade until high school. So they did a lot of great job in training teachers, giving them the right materials, so they can talk about coding and programming to their students. And so App Camps is doing a great job. And then you have here in Hamburg the first and the only school intern teacher training on EdTech. And it's done by a guy called Micha, what's his last name? Micha something. And he's like super good, and he's an English teacher and a German teacher. His handle on Twitter is EdTech Germany, so it's easy to remember, EdTech Germany on Twitter. And he does a lot of technology in his classroom. He's super, innovative. He's an English and German teacher, and a few years ago he decided to train all the teachers in his school. There are like 150 teachers in his school. He said, why couldn't I share my knowledge with my peers? That's how it works best. So he created this school intern 20 hours per year professional development for his colleagues, and it's very believed. It's people in his school, so the teachers really like it. Now it's the second year he's done it, but he has a lot of success, and I was there at one of his professional development, and it was of high quality, really of high quality.
He's teaching how to use technology.
How to use technology in the classroom, but also about digital literacy, about what it is to be innovative. So, for example, when I came to his class, he taught him about the summer model that I told you about, substitution revolution, and what is innovative and what is not. And he pushes them to innovate, to experiment new ways of doing. So it talks a lot about pedagogy, not so much about technology, but he gives them ideas of project-based learning and how you could do it differently and how technology could be integrated in that. But he thinks more strategic. He teaches them to think strategically. What do you want to change? What do you want to achieve in your classroom? And then I would help you, and I would give you the tools to do that. It's really. I like how he does it. So yeah, that's first in Germany. No one did that before. Like a EdTech Fortbildung like that in a public school. But he has a very open management board at his school that said yes directly, and yeah, but that's a first, and I think it's a very great initiative. So I cannot speak about the other parts of Germany. I've only been to Hamburg. I'm going to Berlin then, so I will have two examples of two states. I cannot do the 16 different states, so it's not possible. So I will only write about those two states, but I think that already gives you like an overview of how Germany is organized in terms of education. So, yeah, and then I'm going to talk a bit more about, and I'm going to be a bit quick, because we said 30 minutes, but I'm sure I'm way over it, right? So but these examples are really amazing. Okay, I keep the best for the end. So this is what I found out during my first tour. So first I went to the US. I didn't want to go to the countries like Finland, the US and stuff, because we already talk so much about them, about their great EdTech ecosystems. I want to go to countries that we don't talk about. But the US was a stop that we couldn't miss. It's the most mature EdTech ecosystem. So I had to understand why it's so mature. I had to understand why it's working so well there. Well, their system is so easy. I mean, easy. It's way easier than ours. You just have to go to a school district. You have, I think, 10,000 school districts. But one school district already has like 100 schools. So if you can sell your product to one school district, you're already in 100 schools. So you have to convince each school district to buy your product, and you're already in a couple of tens and hundreds of schools. So it's much easier for a startup to go there. And then you have a lot of things going on. You have 4 investment funds that are investing in EdTech only in EdTech products. You have a lot of incubators and accelerators that are only dedicated to EdTech, and that helps a lot because you have specialists that are supporting you and giving you the right tips to go into the schools. They know the market pretty well, and that's how it works so well. So you also have a thing happening there. It's called the rise of micro schools there. I don't know if you heard of some micro schools. Micro schools are really small schools, small scale, 30 to 70 students, very small schools. Often it's primary schools, and they are popping up everywhere. So you have one of them called Alt School. Alt School was created by a former Googler who thought that technology could really change a lot, and he wants to personalize each learner's path. So in Alt School, that's not this example here, but in Alt School, as a learner, you are a laboratory rat. So you are looked at. Every movement you do, you have cameras everywhere in the school, microphones, and you have a huge team of engineers behind the school that looks at everything with the teachers. Let's see, that's interesting. This kid doesn't speak to a lot of people. He stays at the back of the school the whole day. How could we do to make it a bit easier for him? And this kid is super social. He talks to everyone, and that's great. Maybe we can pair these two and see how they can work together. And each morning, the kids are coming, they have their tablets, they take their tablets and they see their learning playlist for the day. 9 to 10. Reading with Sarah, because Sarah knows reading, she's great at reading and I'm not so great, so I will read with Sarah. Then 10 to 11, sport class with Mr. J. 11 to 12, mathematics lesson in half a group with Mrs. J on this topic. And you have your projects, everything is put in your playlist, you just have to come see your playlist, and it's personalized, I see, if I'm really great in mathematics, then I know that I will surely have to teach another student about this mathematics lesson that we did and he didn't really understood it, So the whole thing is personalized. And of course, you have a lot of projects. It's not about doing some exercises. A lot of projects that build a boat, and they are really putting the emphasis on creativity. So it's not just about. Some would say that it's really bad to film everything and to have so much data on the kids. And I know in Germany it's a huge topic, data and data protection, but these schools are experimental schools. They're experimenting something completely new. So as a parent, you better have to trust them, because I think your kid is some kind of experimentation buddy, but still I think it serves some kind of purpose. Because if it works, then you have like a very, very personalized path for your learning. And if it works, then you could maybe have a great experience, much greater than in traditional schools, I think. But we can debate about that, because I know a lot of people don't agree with that. So CanLab School was created created by Sam Khan, the founder of Khan Academy. And he said, okay, I want my kids to be in a different kinds of school, not in the traditional one. So he created a school at first for the employees of Khan Academy, so it's based in the same building as Khan Academy in Mountain View. And now they are duplicating it. So actually, in this school, there is no holiday, no vacation. It's a school that lasts a whole year. And the kids can go whenever the parents want. They can go on vacation for 1 month and come back and go for 2 weeks. It's completely fine. Because at this school, you have your personalized learning path also on this Chromebook, and you are, and everything that you do, that you learn, is in this computer. So we know that you left for your vacation and you were at level 5 in mathematics. So when you will come back, you will continue at level 5. And so they are working on Khan Academy, so on the Khan Academy programs. And every morning they are in their little cubicles like this for a few hours, 1 hour or 2, and they're working on their subjects, on English, on mathematics, and in the afternoon they work on projects that are based on what they learn in the morning. So they make projects about, a specific math concept or about a poem they should write in groups, and there's a lot of collaborative work happening in the afternoon. A lot of creative work, and it's really buoyant, the school. They have drawings everywhere, so it's really put the emphasis on creativity. But also personalized, because you have your computer, you do your stuff, your exercises at your own path, and teachers are only there to check if you are doing well. If you need something, they can of course help you. But there is no traditional schooling. And I think it's also an interesting way of seeing things, that you just need your teacher as a mentor and someone that brings you along the way, that guides you, rather than someone that just gives you some content to remember, and yeah. So I think the role of teachers is completely changing, and we see it in this school and in the schools that I'm going to show you next. This is my favorite school in New Zealand. This school, Point England School in Auckland, is located in one of the most one of the poorest area of New Zealand. A lot of kids from the Maori background, so the Maoris were the first indigenous people that came to New Zealand. And now, of course, they have a huge disadvantage in terms of education, because their mother tongue is still the Maori, and often the parents speak Maori with their kids. And all the school system is based in English and is in English. But in this school, they are taught English, so they have to speak English, but the pedagogy is really benevolent and really based on their needs. So actually in all schools that I visited that were really innovative, I saw one common point. It was that the school leader was the true visionary. And you have to have visionary leaders to implement change. And in this school, which is a public school, publicly funded, the leader and his wife created this pedagogy, the Learn, Create, Share framework. So the Learn, Create, Share framework is about how do you learn. Those kids are in the primary school, so it's first grade to 8th grade. Those kids have to learn. They have to learn how to count, they have to learn how to read, and how to speak. That's like the most important things, in primary school. But how they learn it is different. They have to learn it not in a traditional way where they have to take tests and we see if they learned the things correctly. They have to put their learning into creative projects. So when I was there, they were being taught history and Nelson Mandela. And they had to do a project at the end about Nelson Mandela, and that's how they would get their grade. So one of the groups I followed were doing a rap song on Nelson Mandela. And because they didn't have enough info on Nelson Mandela to finish the song, they didn't have enough words to do the great lyrics, they had to search again on Nelson Mandela, more about his life, about his work. And they learned without really, without realizing that they were learning. And they learned so much about him, and at the end the song was so complete, they wanted to do a clip, they wanted to film themselves, and to show it, and have a clip on Nelson Mandela and their rap song, and they were so engaged in their learning. And that's how they get their grade. They got their grade on the text, how they wrote the song, and their engagement on it. And so every kid has a little computer. Those are the iPads from the school, but actually every kid gets a little computer. The parents cannot really afford them. So what they did, the school raised some funds from an NGO that bought all the laptops for the kids, and the parents paid them back $2 per week with the meals from the canteen. And they, at the end of 3 years, the laptop is theirs. So it's really about parents getting involved, paying an extra of $2 per week, but at the end, it belongs to them, right? And with the laptops, they can be really creative. As I said, they can write, they can edit videos, and they can be really creative. And that's the creation part that's really important. So learn, yes, okay, we have to learn the basics. We have to make them create at the end of each class. They have to create a project, but they also have to share. And this share component is super important because you have to share your learning. You have to make it visible. And make learning visible is a very good way of being even more engaged. So every kid has a blog, a personal blog, starting from 3rd grade. They have a personal blog, and each week they have to write a blog post on what they learned. So it can be something they learned in school, in mathematics, or something they learned at home, or something they learned about themselves, about the world, but something that really stroked them, that they learned and that they enjoyed learning. And so every week they write and they share on their blog, and they get likes, from time to time they get likes from the US, from China, from South Africa, and they even get comments, and some blogs were read I don't know how many thousand times, or some are very, very well known, and they love it, and even if it's just one like, it motivates them even more to learn and to continue to learn and to continue to share their learning and make it visible. Because it's so important. You're not learning for nothing. You have to share it and make it visible to others to get even more motivated and proud about your learning. So this was really amazing. I never saw kids that were so happy to go to school in the morning. Really, I mean, the happiest pupils I've ever saw, I think, in this school. So yeah, and this is the second school in Australia. But this is a private school, super expensive, elite school. Okay, but still, very interesting experiment. And I like schools that experiment. And this school also very, very, the school leader is so visionary. He said, okay, 5 years ago, he said, we can't stay with the school anymore. We have to build a school of the 21st century. I don't want to build alone. I don't want to bring experts in and they tell me we should build a school of the 21st century. I want you guys, the teachers, to think of it. So he created this innovation cell called SIL, Sydney Centre for Innovative Learning. And he said, you teachers are going to reinvent our school. I don't want me to force some ideas or strategy upon you. I want you to be the makers of this school. And this is so very clever, and this should happen all the time because we don't ask teachers enough what they think about change. And now that they are in charge of change, it took a long time, because first one teacher came to the cell and thought, and then he was alone, and then the second teacher came, but the other teachers were not really interested. So it took time to you know, come. I went there, it was super interesting. You have to come and tell us what you think. And you know, after teachers came, and they developed the new concept of their school, which is a school without walls. It's only open spaces. So all the kids have their own device, bring their own device, and they learn differently. There is no class. If a 5th grader or 5 years old has the same level in math as an 8 years old or 10 years old, he can work together with him in projects, and he can learn at the same path. And that's, there is no level. The kids can just learn together according to their skills and knowledge, and the teachers are just there as, you know, mentors, and they are supporting them in all their projects or their endeavors, because kids cannot, you know, learn by themselves. And that's what they told me, the teachers told me. They always need us. They need us if they get stuck somewhere, or if they need some advice on where to find specific information online. And we're here to support them, to help them. And that's our role. And it works pretty well. And actually, I mean, that's how they learn. Yeah, that's the position they take to learn. I mean, the space made it possible. That they're doing some research for group work, and it's normal. It's completely normal to work like this, and they feel cozy. They feel like at home. They don't wear shoes. They're just, you know, comfortable. And that's how we should learn, in a very comfortable, cozy setting. So I really like this example because it's teacher-driven. It's teacher-driven, and the pedagogies have been thought by the teachers, but this is not possible if you don't have a supervisionary school leader that will give you ideas and impulse the movement. The last example. Yes, sorry?
No, that's we wait for.
Okay. And the last example. Because I told you so much about those innovative schools that seem very futuristic, I want to tell you about this school in the very townships of Cape Town, the part of South Africa that maybe was the most touched by apartheid. And that really, I mean, the kids of this school, like, they live in they don't have real houses. They never touched technological devices before. I mean, those kids don't have access to phones, to computers, certainly not. They don't have access to the internet. So this is the context. And I want to show you this picture and tell you this story because education and EdTech is all about context. You cannot say, oh, this is super interesting what they are doing in New Zealand. I want to bring it back to Germany. I want to start a school like this here. You have to take into account the context, the mentalities, the culture, the history of a specific place before you think of innovative education initiative. So actually this computer is seen as so innovative because those kids never, before those computers arrived, they never saw a computer in their life in 2017. And on this computer is a very basic Moodle platform called Green Shoots Education, developed by two pedagogues, two teachers that had no idea about technology, but that knew that a huge amount of computers were left in those computer labs in those 100 schools of Cape Town's townships. And nobody was doing anything with these computers. So they developed this basic Moodle platform that worked on those computers for learning mathematics, really basic, really, it's not much. It's like about asking questions about math and you have different answers, you have to pick the right answer. It's really not really innovative in the sense that we know. So they would not pass the COCOA test. really, they won't pass the Google test, okay? They won't get the standard of innovative learning materials. But in this example, what makes a difference is the context, is the fact that these kids never had access to a computer, and now 2 times a week they're getting into this computer lab. Every kid has its own computer in front of him or her, and it makes a huge difference because the only idea of touching the keyboard for the first time and maybe getting to the internet and open Google, it's for them like magic, and they're so much engaged in that. And on Moodle, the simple fact of using the keyboard, just the mouse, and really trying to get engaged and motivated to answer those questions, it works, because it's different, because it's not the teacher in front of the blackboard writing with it's something different. They're going to the computer. It's like they're proud of this. They're proud of coming to the computer lab and doing mathematics online on green shoots, and it's the pride of the week to go there. And they would rather be sick and still come to not miss the computer lab session. It's something that is sacred. And even if they're sick, they're coming in schools and they're getting into that. And just with the mere fact that they are doing some exercise, so they do the theory in the class, they do the exercise on Moodle, and the simple fact that they are training and doing this exercise online, I don't know, the results went like 4 times higher. Okay, the results were they have in South Africa tests every year, and on the 100% scale, this school was in mathematics at 1% success rate. So they had a long way to go. But with Moodle, they are now at 24%, which is huge for them. It's huge, and they couldn't imagine this because it's not about the software there; it's about the technology. So I'm always saying that we should think education first, and we should think pedagogy first. Of course, and the software could be even better. But just to say that this is not like the truth in countries like South Africa in these specific contexts, the Moodle platform works just fine, because it's not about it. It's about everything that goes with it. So this would never work in Germany and France. Kids would be super bored, and they would say, "What is this? We're not going to work on this. And what is this computer? It's like 20 years old. We're not going to touch this. We want new MacBooks, right?" So that's just to remind you of the importance of the context. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.